Look at how fast we're getting this down now. That's a feat in itself this year. Okay, I gotta stop moving this microwave microphone. Okay. What up, you guys? This is Andrea with From Mrs. to Ms. Happy New Year, everybody. Michelle and I are back for a new episode. Woo woo! I love it. We're back to kind of just shoot the shit today, right?
Well, Happy New Year.
Are you awake?
I'm a little hungover.
Just a titch. Is that a word?
I had a mucho tequila last night.
Mucho tequila. We were just talking about that. I do not know how you hang. I love that you hang. I love it. Are you hanging?
Yeah.
Barely.
I thought I was going out for a couple cocktails and it just kind of kept rolling. We kept bumping into people New Year's Eve.
What a fun night. What a
fun night, we
right?
winged it and we didn't have a big plan and it ended up being one of the best New Year's. But I was actually
that.
in bed by midnight. I stayed awake till 12:30.
And then you were like, Happy New Year. And out.
Yeah. We're like blackout.
I'm surprised you're up and at it with me this morning. I was like, for sure, she's not going to be on.
I'm committed. I'm committed to you as a great girlfriend. And plus, I enjoy
that. Got me a little wet when you said you're committed to me. Let me tell you. It's been a long time since I've heard those words from somebody.
I don't think I've said it to anyone in a year.
Oh, see, we're starting our own little relationship here.
Oh,
no, it's like with a horse or something. I don't know.
Well, it is a new year.
It's a new year. So
yeah,
where do we go from here? I love it. I love the first day of the year. I wake up like this is a new day. I actually wake up every morning and before I put my feet down from my bed, I do this thing where I go, it's going to be a great day. And I give 2 claps. So today it was.
Sorry. I'm just picturing you like a 5-year-old being like, clap, clap.
Yep, clap. I do it every morning. Clap, clap. And then I get going. I know. And then I have Alexa set where she gives me all these words of affirmation at 8:30. She just starts spitting stuff out and saying like, this is my year. This is going to be amazing. And it's like, it just puts me in the best mood. It really does. It might sound cheesy, but I'm like, yes. And I'm
no, I think that's amazing. I get up, look at my phone, check my email and go, oh, okay, let's do this.
Okay, folks, which one do you want to follow this year?
I actually do go to bed and wake up every night and morning and say, I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful. I'm successful. I'm loved. I'm supported. Like I do that, but I do it silently. I don't have Alexa telling me. Maybe I need Alexa, although I don't like Alexa's voice.
Oh, I think you can change it though. I think you can change.
I would love like an English gentleman or like Chris Hemsworth to wake me up and say,
Australian man.
You're gorgeous. You're hot. You got this, babe.
Pretty sure that can happen. Pretty sure.
I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
I gotta get my 2024 morning routine off to a better start.
Yeah. I think it's really good though to have kind of an agenda, whether it's a hidden secret agenda or to just have it out there. I think it's really good to start your day in a positive mindset. I've been trying to do like a meditation, and with that, I'm trying to make it a habit basically. So every morning, that is kind of what I do. It's a great day, toot toot. And then I get my little morning affirmations. Then I make my coffee. Then I start my meditation and then I journal.
Okay.
I know.
I clean. I get up, putter. I do laundry. I do emails. But I think what we were going to try to spin into here is that it's a new year.
Yes.
And I know we've been talking a little negatively about dating, as we pointed out. And maybe it's a new year to be a little more optimistic and think about what we want in our love lives moving forward.
I love that idea. I love that idea. And yes, because I've been totally on that page with you. I haven't been negative. I think that we've been just kind of putting it out there of things to maybe watch out for, things to, just to get you in a better place in your relationships or in your life or your situationship or wherever you might be. But I love the idea of kind of let's spin it a little and talk about the really positive things, because I think there is so much positiveness in dating, relationships, figuring yourself out, reinventing yourself. I love that. Yeah.
I think the big thing is though, the root is with you. So if you're in a good headspace, you're positive, you're not dragging all your baggage from previous relations into God, wow, there's the
Again.
tequila. I think if you have a number of bad dates or a number of bad relationships in a row, or you've just felt disappointed, or you have PTSD from a bad situation, it is
Mhm.
hard to give yourself a clean slate, because as we know, that you could go on the most amazing date and be really positive, but if they do something that triggers you or reminds you of the past, how do we not let that lead us into the next relationship? So I think the big thing is try to shed that weight, that
Yes.
pain, that hurt, that, hopefully some happiness that you had in previous relationships, but at the same time, move forward and a note that, okay, you're going to make yourself the best you can be. And you're
Mhm.
not going to look for another to fulfill something. You have to look for another who's also in a healthy place.
Yes.
But again, if you're not in a healthy place emotionally, how are you going to attract someone that's in a healthy place as
Full
well?
circle on that. You're right. That's what it goes
So,
back to. So let
yeah.
me ask you this. When you go out on a first date, maybe it's a second date, at what point, like if they ask you about an ex, somebody's like, so have you been dating much? When was your last relationship? What happened? Do you engage in that conversation? How do you handle it personally?
Well, I think this is the hardest part. That comes out sometimes just on the first message on an app.
I
And it's a little
know.
aggressive. You're like, whoa, like,
Oh,
they might say, hey, nice to meet you or nice to connect. When was your last relationship? When were you married? When did you get
yeah.
divorced? I'm like, whoa, just because I have a kid, it means I was married at some point, which I was.
Right.
What I, I actually pull away from that if someone initiates a text or on an app asking
Okay.
those questions. I'll say, you know what? Let's connect and get to know each other. And then we
Yeah.
can get into that if there's something here.
I think
Because
that's
I
a great
just feel
idea.
like it's a bad start to start unpacking the past.
Yes. And especially if it's a new past relationship, because then it's still sitting there so fresh in your mind. And when you come out of something and it's almost like you want to talk about it, you want people to ask you about it because you're just clinging on to that, whatever it was, especially if
Yeah.
you're not the one who ended it. Right. So then as soon as they ask you, then you kind of get onto that. And I don't like that. I don't like when it goes down that path, even though I am interested to know. I'm like kind of like, I wonder when theirs was, but I don't want to be the one to ask either.
I mean, there was a Instagram post going around for a while, and if you saw it, and it said, your ex's new girlfriend or partner is
Mhm.
now really realizing why you're no longer in this relationship with this person. I'm like, it was worded better, but that
Yeah.
was the gist. I was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think for me, I really did a lot of soul searching over the
Mhm.
holidays, and I know what I'd like for love in my life. And
Mm.
I'm in a pretty positive headspace about it now. But I think again, like, sure, we can go into this new year being super optimistic,
Yeah.
right? And we can
Yeah.
have these new ideas and project them and put it out there and hope that, someone comes along. But at the same time, I think loving yourself first is so
Mhm.
huge, and taking
Yep.
care of yourself, and then go on this date and hopefully you have a great first date, and then hopefully it
Absolutely.
leads to a second date, and then hopefully it leads to love. And yeah, there's always some nice physical moments there. Hopefully.
So what
But
kinds of positive things? Tell me some of the things that you have either been working on or kind of set for yourself for the next year to work on. Not
well, I did
necessarily a
something a little
resolution, just something about yourself that you
yeah, I did something a little bizarre right before the break. I did a Reiki session, which I
love.
haven't done in years.
Okay, so I'm not even totally familiar with that. So tell me, I've heard about it, but tell me.
Well, Reiki is energy work.
Okay.
So a lot of people go to therapists. I can talk and talk, as you can tell, till I'm
Right.
blue in the face. It doesn't mean I'm going to heal. For
Yeah.
me, talking doesn't heal me.
Okay.
For some
Interesting.
reason, everything that happens to me, I think I absorb it energy wise and it almost becomes cellular. So, Reiki, the
Mm.
whole idea is about clearing out the negative, clearing the chakras, which is not my usual routine. I think I tried Reiki like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend has a buddy that started doing it. So I trusted, because you have to trust. You have to go
Okay.
in completely open and experience this thing. But what I didn't realize was how much I needed to unpack emotionally. So I just
Wow.
feel very calm
And you
and
discovered
very
this in one session, like in one sitting?
well,
What do you call
I
it?
I feel awful for the adjoining offices that were doing massage and stuff, because I was gutturally sobbing.
Really? I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that though. How cleansing and freeing that
Yeah.
must have been, right?
Yeah. So I think,
Wow.
going into the new year, we need to find ways to heal
Yeah.
because, like we said, why do we want to bring this crap into the next year? So she
Yeah.
mostly did, again, they hold your hands over your body. And if you've never experienced Reiki before or good Reiki, because
Yeah.
believe me, there are hacks like any profession, there are good ones and bad ones.
Uh-huh.
Um, you actually start to feel your energy moving in your body. Like if they move
Mm.
their hands over your throat, they normally hover their hands maybe like 6 inches above you,
Okay.
and you might have a sore throat, and then they'll move over your head, and then you might have a headache, and then they run down to your stomach, and your
What?
stomach will start to growl. Yeah. It's really crazy. And sometimes you're like, is this real? But then when your body starts to feel this, and they're not even touching you.
Yeah.
But yeah, she just kept saying, you're not fine. And you keep telling
Yeah.
everyone you're fine. So tell me how you're truly feeling. And I would hold my breath. She's like, breathe. And when I would breathe, it just came
Came
out. And
out.
this sobbing. And then I try to shut it down again
Yeah.
because I don't want to experience it.
Yeah.
And she'd say, you have to keep going. You have to keep breathing. And I can see something. And I know there's more here. And you got to tell me. And I let out betrayal and, kind of the
Oh,
narcissist relationship. That's actually what brought me to the session. I
okay.
still feel connected to this really bad relationship that happened that
Yeah.
ended a year ago.
Yeah.
And man, I, I think I'm still dealing with the healing because
Yeah.
it was so much. Like she looked at me and she said, that was probably one of the biggest first sessions I've ever had.
Wow.
Anyways, I
Leave
don't
it to
want to take up
Michelle.
too much time about
No, I
Reiki and
love it.
energy
It's
work, but
fascinating. It's fascinating. I haven't experienced that or done it. I don't know how I would react to any of that. I should try it just to kind of see how that
yeah.
goes. That would be amazing.
Well, like I said, I
Wow.
mean, how do you like I think, wow, again, we're gonna cut this part. Tequila hangover, brain dead. How do you heal? What's your way of healing after either a relationship ends or
Well,
disappointment?
I just sit in it. I just sit in the grief of it. I try not to suppress it and just act like it didn't happen and move on. I just sit quite often. I'll just sit on my couch and just have moments where I am crying or I'm upset or, and I know I'm going to go through those stages because you go through the sadness and the grief and then you'll get angry, right?
Yeah.
Before you get to a healthy place. But I just sit in it. And that's kind of my thing because I don't want to just try to ignore it and just, gloss over it. And then later it comes back because I didn't really deal with it. And
Yeah.
that's probably my biggest fear. So I like to be sad about it. And if I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry. And if I'm going to get angry, I'm going to get angry. And I journal about it. And then I bring out my book, Single is Your Superpower. And I read that again.
The
Uh,
journals come out.
Yes, everything. Yeah, you start
Yeah.
that process again because it is another healing every time something like that happens. And I've gotten so much better over the years. Like I don't allow those relationships or those insignificant moments to affect me like I used to. It used to just take it so heavy and so deep and I'm like, "Oh," and it would just have me down for days and weeks, and now it's like if it's not meant for me, it's just going to go and pass me by. It just wasn't for me. And that's what I've just started to realize. And when it's right, it'll feel right and I'll know it. I'm
You
hoping.
just said something. It's one of my favorite sayings. You kind of brushed over a part of it.
Yeah.
What is meant for you will not pass you by. Whether that's
So
a
good.
job, a man, a woman, whatever, love,
Hmm.
abundance. I love that saying. And I have to say that to myself all the time.
Yeah.
Because again, we might go on a fabulous date or 2 dates or 3 dates. I mean, you recently met someone you thought this was going in a perfect direction. We were so proud you didn't take your clothes off. And then look what happened.
Woohoo! Look what happened.
It was done
Still
within days.
done.
And you
I,
could have taken your clothes off. And I'm sure it would have been fun, although you didn't like his bod.
it was not my usual bod that I am used to, but I was willing to compromise because I liked the way I was being treated. I thought
Yeah.
he was super nice to me and kind. And that is really sad to say that the bar is so low that I'm like, he was kind to me. But in today's world, it is a mess out there. And so I'll take
Yeah.
kindness and sweetness and all of that any day. So yeah, I was willing to yeah.
But I think you
Except
should tell
the
the audience
bod.
a little bit about, or the listeners, what happened because you were excited about this guy.
I
Like
was
we're
excited.
talking about leading into the new year. with
Mhm.
positivity. And this guy was great. And you guys had strong communication. And then why don't
Mhm.
you kind of let people know of, I
Where it
love how
went.
you wrap this up.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's
It
important to
felt
talk
good.
about.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I did like him and we hit it off right from the beginning. It was just great. We had the chemistry. And so when we met, it was a wonderful first meet and greet, if you will. We just kind of met for coffee. And that was like, yes, I like this guy. And we had a lot in common. Our love languages matched. We had talked a lot before meeting. So that helped as well. And right off the bat, I could tell we had similar love languages. It was just the brush on the back or, just something very
Mhm.
simple that I was like, "Ah, that's my language." He was speaking my language. So
Yeah.
we went from there. We went on another date. We had a total of 3 dates, is what we had over the period of time. I don't know. It was maybe like 3 weeks or something. It wasn't anything crazy, but I was just excited about it. And I told you, and you and I would talk, and I would be like, okay,
Yeah.
he's still in the picture. It feels good. It feels right. We went for a nice dinner. He was very complimentary. He was a listener, which was wonderful. We were very open. We communicated. We talked even about who we were currently dating. I have to assume everybody, if you're going to meet somebody on the app, you pretty much have to assume you're dating somebody else at the same time or
They're
talking to other
multi-dating.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah.
odds of it being just you, very slim. So I'm okay with that as long as you don't mix us up. I don't like when,
I've had that
because
before. I'm like, I don't
yeah.
think this text was for me.
100%. And I'm pretty sure I said that to him. He made some comment and I went, wrong girl. And I'm going to let it slide on that one because I
Oh,
don't like that. You can date multiple people right now because we're not exclusive, but don't mix us up. That's just not cool. So I did make
yeah.
sure
Keep
to say
score.
that.
Make sure
Yeah.
you
Keep track of
revisit
what you're
your
talking
previous
about.
text. Know what you've covered.
Make notes if you don't know.
Men, are you listening? Women, come on, get your shit together. If you're
Don't
going to
do
multi-date,
that.
you got to do it properly. Or at least, like, again, be genuine and be kind. But tell us
Yeah.
how, like, you had this amazing third date and then he
Yes.
just went quiet.
So we had an amazing third date. Then we made a plan for a fourth date. Now it threw me off a little bit because it was planned maybe 5 or 6 days out. And I even was like, "Ooh, don't tell me the other girl is getting the prime night Saturday night deal," and
The
I'm being
Friday and Saturday
shuffled.
night slots or
Yeah,
whatever.
and I'm on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And no, he said that he had a birthday party Saturday night. So that's why we were doing
Mhm.
Sunday night. So it was fine. We
Mhm.
were talking and texting every single day. So this was, morning text, everything, which I love all of that stuff. So it was
Yeah.
all really good. And we were looking forward to Sunday. Then Saturday came and he made mention of something Saturday night that didn't coincide with what he'd told me before about the birthday party. Now the birthday party was moved to Sunday afternoon. And I'm like, that's a big difference, a Saturday night to a Sunday. It's
Yeah,
probably
don't
not the same
confuse
kind
the
of
women via
party.
text and definitely remember what you said to each woman
Yes,
on
and
your
that's
plan.
where I started to just get this negative, like, just something in my gut was saying something's a little bit off. So Sunday came, he called me Sunday morning. We made plans for Sunday evening. We were just doing like a dinner and a movie, just like a fun night, but we totally made the plans. We had the date time set, everything
Mhm.
was ready to go. So he had his birthday party at 2. Now all of a sudden there was something else, another family event at 5. And so he would make it to me by 7:30. I just felt like all of a sudden, what was our day for a plan, it now was crammed into fitting me around these family events, and I'm using air quotes.
Because we think there are other women involved people.
Absolutely. That was
We're
our
like,
first
this
thought is,
feels a little weird.
yeah, probably a date right before me. And if that goes well, then Andrea's going to keep
Double
getting
header.
pushed. Yes. And I was trying to like deny it. No, 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 no. This can't be because I'm thinking we've been having such a great time and this just
Mhm.
didn't make sense. Not to mention, I specifically said to him, listen, I'm kind of really over this whole dating thing. I've had some bad experiences. It's fine if you're dating other women. Just at this point, let me know. Just let me know if there's somebody you're more interested in and you want to pursue that. Don't ghost me. At this point, it's been a few weeks. We've had a lot of intimate conversations. Just don't ghost me. And he was like, I would never do that to you. Thanks. That's
Mhm.
good.
Mhm.
So Sunday comes.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I set myself up. So Sunday comes, we have the plan, then he tells me about the one thing, then the next event, and then a couple hours before the date, I get a text saying he doesn't think he's going to be able to make it, that now there's a family dinner after the two family events. So in my mind, I'm going, I immediately texted my other girlfriend. I said, something's up. Cause she just asked me, what's up with the date? And I'm like, something's up
And
because
I said, I think he's on a date and it went well and he's
it went well.
extending to your
Yes.
time.
And yes, and that made so much more sense when you said it, because I'm like, how do you go from one family event to another family event to now dinner and
Mhm.
not say, hey guys, I can make it to the first two, but I have plans tonight. So I can't make a family dinner that's scheduled last minute. That's why I didn't buy it. So I even made concessions for it. I was like, do you want to push the movie? I was trying to make sure I was there if that was really the true story. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And he said, not sure what time I'll be done heading into where I'm going. And I went, okay. That was it. That was the last I heard from him that
Right.
night
But then,
until
yeah,
2 days later. Yeah. So I knew now, 2 days later, now I haven't heard from him at all. We've been talking, texting every day. Obviously, I knew something was up. So I wasn't ready to just let him off the hook. I mean, we had this conversation. So I just texted
yeah.
him briefly and I just said,
Is
hey,
this
good
you
morning.
ghosting me?
Is this you? Is this you not ghosting me? I said to him, and I said, is there something you'd like to say to me? And he called, which I appreciate that he did. He didn't just let it go, but he called very like, hey, what's up? Nothing happened.
Hey, fucker,
And we kind of,
don't
yeah, we
call
go,
me and act like nothing's
yeah, he's trying to
happening.
act like everything was on the up and up. And I just said, what's going on? And he said, listen, I really liked going out with you and all this stuff. It's just this woman came back that I was dating, I don't know, 6 years ago or something. She's come back into my life. We have been hanging out a little bit, which made sense why my date was pushed 5 days out. And he said, she wants a relationship and I think I'm ready for that. And we're gonna move forward with that. And I'm like, wow, okay. So then he proceeds to say, Andrea, I just want you to know how beautiful you are, how funny you are, and I said, stop right there. This is not about me. I don't need to hear any of those things from you. I don't need your accolades. What I do need from you is an apology because it was
Yeah.
disrespectful how you treated that whole situation.
Yeah.
And you could have just been honest with me. And from the get go, I asked you to not do this, to not ghost me. And you said you never would. So I said, in the future, don't say something if you're not going to do it. I would really
Yeah.
appreciate it. If you would just have called me and told me, hey, listen, I'm going to pursue something with somebody else. I would have so much more respect for you than to call me up and act like you had another family event going on and lies and this and that. So I just let
Yeah.
him down and said, I wish the best for you and I hope it works out. That's what we all want, is to be happy. So hopefully she's your one. And I wish you the best and good luck to you in the future. And I hung
But
up.
at least you didn't just sit on it.
I
Like that's
didn't
what I wanted to
sit on
talk about. So
it.
what I want to spin off to is in 2024, I think what's really important is to make a small list, even on a
Hmm.
sticky note.
Hmm.
What are your top 5 things you are looking for in a partner?
Yeah, your
Put it on your
non-negotiables.
fridge, put it on your bathroom mirror. Like I said, sticky notes are great because you kind of walk past it. It's almost like you can
Hmm.
do little notes to yourself too, like you're beautiful, you deserve love, you're
Yes.
supported, you're safe, whatever important notes you want to make to yourself.
Hmm.
But I think put this in writing. When you put it in writing and you have an accountability partner, kind of like how you
Yes.
and I were bouncing things off, like don't take your clothes off, let me know how the date
Yes.
goes. Tell maybe your best friend like what your top 5 are, or text
Yeah.
it to her and be like, you have to hold me to this. And if you go on a date and 2 of these are missing, you're done.
Not your
Don't
person.
waste your
Yeah.
time, but keep walking past it and decide that's what you deserve and
Hmm.
that's what you want. And I truly believe that the more you do that, the more you bring into your life,
Yeah. Oh, and I
the more
love that.
positive.
And I have one on my little whiteboard on my fridge,
Yeah.
and mine just basically says, I will never be in a relationship with someone that does not fully choose me. And
Yeah.
I read it daily. And it's a reminder for me. If I think of, giving in to somebody who I know is not a match for me, but I just, want the companionship or somebody to hang out with, this man is not fully choosing me.
Right.
So I just have to let that go. And I think that's a really big thing for the new year, is just letting things go. And you and I also
Yeah.
talked about this week, because I said to you, I want to get rid of any toxic relationships in my life, those that I am wasting my energy on just to
Yes.
keep it alive for whatever reason it may be, a situationship, or, just to have that manly companion around. And I was going to do it yesterday. And I think you were like, why wait? Do
Don't do
it
it on New
now.
Year's
Don't do,
Eve. Start the year
yes.
off right. Yeah, I
Start the
backed
year
you up a
off
day.
right.
I got you
You
to,
did. You
yeah,
did. And
pull
I
it up by
called you
day.
and we kind of talked about how we wanted it to be phrased, because I tend to have too much empathy for the situation and I put a lot of heart into it. And I'm like, I don't want to hurt their feelings. And you're like, fuck
Cut that
that.
right down. What are you doing? No, I love that you've been cleaning house. And I
Yeah.
think that's an important thing to talk about is that, as you brought up, if you're on an app, most likely they are multi-dating just like
Yes.
you are. But this is the thing. It is nice to say, hey, do you want to just give this a go? Just you and I.
Mhm.
But I truly believe if you're fresh out of a relationship, it is important to go on at least 3 different dates with different people. Don't just be like, oh, someone's popped in
Yep.
and they seem to fit some of the things I want. Why not? They're here.
Yeah.
Like I always think it's funny when people kind of really quickly reach out and just snatch onto someone and that's it. They're like, this is my new partner. I'm like, it's been a week.
Yes.
It's
Isn't
been
that
a
wild?
month.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
It's
think
good.
it's good though. Like, even though you may think that you want this one person to just commit to you within a date or two, but I
Mhm.
think it's actually important for that person yourself to go on multiple dates,
Yeah.
to
And you don't
test
even
drive.
know them to even know enough about them to know that you
Yeah.
want them to be that person for you.
Right.
Because I could have said that with the guy of 3 weeks. I was like, I
Yeah.
was really feeling like, oh, this could have potential. And I was excited about the potential of it and how
Yeah.
quickly it turned because I didn't really know him. And I'm like, then I had to think about what am I fighting for? I'm fighting for something I don't even know that I really want at this point,
Yeah.
because I wasn't sold on the bod for sure, so I was already making concessions, and I know that sounds terrible and very shallow to say that, but that
A
was in
little bit.
addition to other
A
I
little
know it,
bit.
I know it,
The
but I
body has
like a
never
man.
affected my dates. I always go for the ones that
Yeah, we've kinda talked about that
intellectually
before.
stimulate me. It
Yeah.
sounds strange, but I need a really individually, or I should say more like a independent thinker. I
Mhm.
like someone to be creative or I don't know, just very intoxicating with how they communicate, how they are. And
Yeah.
then I actually grow attracted to them
Yes,
because
we've talked
of
about that. Yeah, you
yeah.
had somebody that you kind of had a relationship with like that, right?
Oh my God. He approached me and he was so not my type.
Yeah.
He was 10 years younger and almost 300 pounds. He was
Wow.
also 6'6" and an like Aussie, so
Yeah.
huge. Like we're not talking about well,
Not
he was very on the curvy side. I should say that. But he treated me like a
curvy.
princess. He treated me so much better than any other man.
Yeah.
So I think even the other thing we got to think about is 2024, try something new. Because if it
Yes.
hasn't worked for you in the past,
Yeah.
there's a reason.
There's a
And what's
reason.
that whole explanation of insanity is,
Yes. The
doing the
definition
same
of
thing and
sanity. Yeah.
expecting a new result. Like, maybe you should give the nerdier guy a shot.
Mhm.
Maybe you should give the curvier, big boned guy a shot or woman, whatever your vibe is. But yeah, I think the other thing that you mentioned is that wow, this tequila really has affected my brain. Is just kind of growing, like
Mhm.
seeing you grow in this
Mhm.
last scenario. Like I know you were like, oh, he stopped messaging me. I don't know what to do. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you said like don't ghost me. And he agreed.
Yeah.
So you go for it. You find
Yeah.
out. But didn't it feel good? Like I know
It felt
sometimes not the
amazing.
answer we want, but at least you're like, okay, done.
No,
Moving
and
on.
I think it allowed me I didn't need to really heal from it. It was only a couple weeks, but it allowed me to move on without feeling like I had been beaten down with it or, that I accepted mediocrity. It allowed me to take my power back. And that's how I felt after. I was on a high after that. And
Yeah.
not because I like degraded him or made him feel small, but because I held him accountable and I
Yeah.
challenged him. And I was like, listen, we had a conversation. Don't sit there and have an honest conversation with me and tell me you're not going to do this and then do this exact thing. So I'm going to let you know that's not okay and you're not going to get away with it with me. So it felt amazing, to be honest. And I think that's why I was like, okay, I'm fine from it.
Yeah. But I know you said you didn't have to heal from it, which you
Mhm.
didn't. But I think what's important is that if you had let that space sit and not know what happened, and
Yeah,
as women, we create lots of stories in our heads.
100%.
And then let's say you'd gone on a date this week and the guy had been quiet for 24 hours. I'm telling you, you would have knee jerked.
Yes.
We don't think we will, but we will. And we do go, oh my God, I'm back here again. And the
Yep.
crazy part is this happened to me about a year and a half ago.
Mhm.
And this guy went quiet for 2 days. And I kind of thank God I shot a nicer message, and his mom had passed away. But we'd only gone on a couple dates. So it's not like he's going to be
Mm,
like, hey, just so you know, we didn't have a
yeah.
plan moving forward. But I said, look, I've had a really nice time with you. I would
Yeah.
love to see you again. And that was my way of nudging and being like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then I'm so grateful I didn't say, hey, you just ghosted me. Like, where are you or something? In 20, I think it was 20,
Yes.
I think it was 48 hours. Maybe give him a little bit more. Yeah, it was 48
Yeah.
hours. But just could you imagine if I'd been like, hey, loser, you ghosted
That
me
would have been
on my mom,
terrible. Mom passed away. Oh, I
So I
know.
think we have to be careful with our hearts, but also the other hearts that
Right.
we're
We do, because we
attracting or
don't
working with.
know truly what, yeah, we don't know what somebody's going through for sure. Everybody has a lot going on these days, and we want to be very cautious in how we reach out and say things. But when you do
Yeah.
know the situation, I applaud anyone that wants to challenge somebody or hold them accountable. I think it's
Yeah.
amazing.
I don't know why this popped in my head, but I think one
Mhm.
of the biggest things that I've always done in my relationships that I think has been very positive is I don't allow swearing. And what I
Oh,
mean by that is you can stub your toe and say, fuck, that hurt.
yeah.
But you never, ever say, fuck you.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
never say,
yeah.
you're being a bitch. You're
Yeah.
being an asshole. I know a lot of people use those words too casually these days. And I
Hmm.
feel like if we are starting this new year and we are trying to be on a positive note, don't use negative language to your partner, even if it's, just you're being a jerk. Things
Yeah.
like that. You can say that hurt me or that
Yes.
affected me or I wish you'd use better words.
Right.
When
Make it
you
about
call
you and how you
someone,
feel.
yeah, when you call someone and use bad language,
Hmm.
it's only a slippery slope to go down from there. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Absolutely. No, I love that. I think that's great because you're so right. It gives this negative vibe connotation. It makes it okay. You're saying it's okay to talk to each other like that.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's
No.
not. That's a really great one. I think that everybody should really try is just being positive and talking things in a positive way all the
Yeah.
time because I think it can just bring it to a different level.
Well,
I
it's
love.
abusive. It goes to an
Yeah.
abusive level, even if it starts off jokey in the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're being a bit of a bitch. And you're like,
Yes.
ha ha ha.
Yeah. Fuck you.
When
Ha ha
things
ha. Yeah.
go negative, those words come out and it's
Yeah.
abusive. So
Yeah.
again, we're moving into 2024 on a positive note.
I love.
Affirmations, stand in
Mhm.
your own truth, get
Mhm.
healthy, healthy heart. It would be good
Healthy
for you to be healthy
heart.
too, but obviously
Yeah.
I'm not too healthy with all the tequila swimming in my body right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just working on yourself. I think that there's a lot of really great things that you can do just to kind of get yourself in a wonderful place to be ready to accept love or a relationship or partnership or whatever it is you're looking for when it comes your way. I think
Yeah.
there's things you can do physically, mentally. You talked about the different, like the Reiki session. Some people are great
Yeah.
in therapy. I think therapy always has this weird stigma to it, like, oh, they're going to, what's it called? Like, um, what do they call a psychiatrist? Another name for it.
Shrink.
Right. I can think about that.
Well, this is the thing.
Ah,
Again, there's so many different kinds of therapists. You've got,
yes.
a psychologist, you have
Yes.
a family therapist, you have a love therapist, sex therapist. Like there's all these,
Yes.
you almost need them all to be put into one human. Go, I need
I
help in all these
know.
arenas. I
I
find it in one
know.
person.
But there's nothing wrong with going and just talking to somebody and getting stuff out. It's so much better than keeping it all inside or just, I love listening to different people talk. I have actually a lot of guests lined up this year for that are, therapists and intimacy whisperers and, some really great fun stuff that I'm excited to hear about because I think we can all learn from someone every time they open their mouth. They say one little thing, I take away something that's just, I go, oh, yeah, that's good stuff. I
I
love
love the idea of
that.
an intimacy whisperer. I was thinking you give good phone. So I'm like, you going to give good whisper?
Oh
No,
yeah.
what's happening?
Hey
Yeah.
baby.
No, God.
I don't
Oh,
know
God.
what that would. I'm very excited to hear about that one because I like to go into my little sexy voice and do some whispering. So
No,
I'll be
you
ready for it.
don't. Oh my
Ah!
God. That's so funny. Here I'm thinking about, I cannot believe it's a new year, and I'm thinking about all the things that I'd love to see happen for my
Mm,
friends and, just loved ones to find either support or love in any way.
yeah.
But I was out with a girlfriend last night for New
Uh-huh.
Year's Eve, and she keeps surprising me with dating young men.
Mm,
She barely dated most of her life. She's not really had
okay.
serious relationships. She's 53 years old. And
Oh,
all of a sudden she's discovered the young men.
the young man.
Like
Okay, how
this
young are we talking?
27.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
young.
he doesn't even describe how she describes. She's like, well, I've been seeing a 27-year-old figure skater. And I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
you sure he's into women? Like, sorry, no, I didn't say that. But I wanted to bring this up because there is a trend out there, and I want to mention it to all the listeners that are coming out of a marriage,
Yeah.
especially a marriage, and you haven't dated in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, even plus.
Yeah.
The young men are targeting older women.
Yes.
And it's even, I don't know if you've noticed on the app, they'll fake their age.
So that they can swipe with, because it's in the algorithms and they'll get the
Yeah.
older women then, right?
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not 40. You look 12.
12.
Like
I
I
know.
delete. But what's wild is she wasn't given any kind of good acknowledgement of sex or like communication by her parents or her
Okay.
mother. And she never talked about it. She didn't talk about how to handle your own body, how to, I mean, I've never really sat my daughter down and be like, so this is how you masturbate. That's not what's
Yeah.
happened. But I've had very open discussions on sex
Yes.
and given big descriptions. So if you can believe it, she discovered her own, she bought her first vibrator. I'm going to go back. If you
Okay.
can believe it, she got her first vibrator.
Try again.
We're going to have to cut that. If you can believe it, she got her first vibrator at 54 years old.
Wow.
How do you not have a vibrator for that long? Anyways,
I don't
so she
know.
discovered it and she calls it Clutch. So she's
Okay.
like, well, I'm having a date with Clutch tonight if she wants to stay in and
Better
get
than
off.
Bob. Okay.
Oh yeah, better than Bob.
Bob.
And then now she's on to these younger men. But it's almost like she's rediscovering this fountain of youth.
Yeah.
But this is the thing I want to bring up. I know we're talking about positive dates and moving forward. I think the only thing I want to say is just be weary of the younger men
Yeah.
because they are purely out there for one reason.
Yeah.
They're not looking to get married. They're not
Mhm.
looking to have a partnership. And I think why they appeal so much to us is because, I mean, I don't like going that young. I'll
Yeah,
go
me
like 8
neither.
years younger or something,
Right, me
max,
too.
max, max. But I think it's because they're not scared.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're very
Yes.
forward and they don't have all this baggage and their eyes are still sparkly. They don't have all this like, oh, I was married and then I had kids and then I got married again
They're
and I had
not
more kids and
tainted.
I'm yeah, they're
Yes.
not tainted. But if you're into that, then go for it.
Yeah, I
I always
just don't
like to
see there's
look
much to come
younger
out of
than
that.
my partner.
Right?
I don't
Right?
want to look like I'm naked next to my, a kid that could be
No.
my daughter's age.
Right. And I think they always kind of say the same thing, that it's, because they know that older women are wiser and they have more in common. They're an old soul and that they're better in bed. That's
I was
all
just going to say, let's be honest. They know we
that's
know how
what
to
it
please
is.
ourselves normally. And normally we
Yes.
know what we're doing in bed.
Yes. And they're just tired of the little ones that don't know that they're just
That starfish. Just like, eh.
they just lay like a dead fish.
Yeah, dead fish.
That's interesting. So she's just kind of sowing her oats right now, though, just trying to see. I don't know.
I guess I struggle with it because I know what she's needing. See,
Yeah.
again, we go
And that's
back
not it.
to what's, do you feel complete? Like I know a lot
Yeah.
of us have gone through a lot in the last 3 years and are still
Mhm.
healing in so many ways. And yes, we do not have to be all perfect and, feeling like $1,000,000 to
Right.
date.
Right.
But at the same time, if you are in a lot of pain and you're going through a lot, it's dating a man 20 years younger is you're probably going to end up crying some night with a chub or a tub of ice cream.
That was me and my dick slipped. Let me try that
Oh,
again.
we both can't
That was me.
talk. Oh
Dick
my
slipped.
God.
That was me and my dick slapped episode, and I went real young and I learned real quick. That's not what I was looking for. I did not want to, first of all, be dodging a penis, in the face, but it was just such a, yeah, I'm like, oh God, he's lost. He doesn't know where the hole is. Um, it's,
He's trying to stick it up my nose.
I know it was just traumatizing, but I've grown from that. That was just a really bad first experience with a young guy. I'm not saying I wouldn't date a young guy. I just don't really feel the connection or what do you really have in common? And I can have great sex with an older man too. So I don't
Yeah.
really need the young sex. I don't need to teach anybody anything at this point.
Oh, that's something I wanted to bring up.
Yes.
2024, the year all women stop faking orgasms.
Oh, is this me too?
Like we talked about, let's train them right.
Yes.
Like tell them, hey,
Yes.
listen, I'm not a porn star. If we're
Yeah.
in bed, I'm going to make noises if you're doing something that I like. If you
And if
don't,
if you don't hear me,
mute. You're screwing up.
I think that's perfect because it's so true. And so many women do that. And,
Mhm.
again, you've said this so many times, like, what's the point? Why are you doing that to make them feel better about the situation, to make them think they're doing something great? Because when they go on to the next woman, should they, they're
Yeah.
going to do the same thing. We're not sticking together as women. We're not helping each other out at all.
No.
And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to fake it. So why not
Yeah.
actually just enjoy it and be in the moment?
Yeah. And if you're in a long-term relationship and you are just wanting to wrap it up,
Mhm.
either
You
finish
tell
them
them?
off in a different way or,
Mm.
just,
I feel like I have gone, "All right, let's wrap
oh,
let's wrap this one up." Mom was tired.
I was going to say, someone's drying up here. We need to get
Yeah.
moving. Let's
Well,
get
and that's so
moving.
true that's what they don't really think about. I mean, we obviously have our different body types, and it starts to
Mhm.
get sore. Virginia's getting old and sore down there.
Virginia. I've never heard someone call it that.
And you're just like,
Oh,
all right, let's go. But I don't really have a problem saying it. I'll kind of like focus more on them and make that happen. For me, I don't have to orgasm every time to enjoy it. And women think that as well. I can very much enjoy my time even if I don't, because my clutch is waiting for me later anyways if I need to. So I'm all good.
exactly.
I'd rather say
Exactly.
Virginia, use the clutch.
Yeah. You just made me think of something. I have never seen a pelvic floor specialist, but I'm about to try it. And
Wait, what?
I'm very curious how this is going to go.
Oh my
A
God, can you
lot of
video
us,
this?
no, it's like an internal exam. You know that,
I
right? Okay, okay, okay. I've
know.
had a couple friends do it, but I think, again, 2024, if you're a woman that experiences pain
Mhm,
instead of just pleasure, when you should be
mhm.
experiencing just pleasure, like it would be smart to go see a pelvic floor specialist that you could get a recommendation from your doctor. Because I
Mm,
think a lot of us women don't realize that we hold so much tension down there
yeah,
and that, unfortunately, if we've ever been through a horrible situation, and we've had an aggressor and something bad has happened,
yeah.
we actually hold that trauma in that space.
Oh,
It's almost
wow.
like breaking your arm, or I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like breaking your arm, but what I'm trying to say is it's almost like getting a massage on your body. I have
Yeah.
no idea. My doctor's like, you really should go see someone. I'm like, what? Let's just say I
What?
went for my latest pelvic. And she's like, can you just, this is very TMI. Can you
Mhm.
just clench? Like, I want to test your pelvic floor. She's like, oh, yeah. You've been so stressed out. These are done. Like, you need to go see a pelvic floor specialist. She's like, these
Wow.
Kegels, they're different.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think we all need healthy pelvic floors so we can have lots
Oh,
of
this is
pleasure in
great advice.
2024.
That's what
Well, a lot of
that's what
women
it's
don't
about.
realize that pain during sex could be as simple as how your muscles are
Mhm.
reacting down there
Yeah.
or trauma from previous experiences.
Related to so many other things you're not even aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
it's
I'm a little
part of working
scared.
on yourself. Have you made the appointment?
No, I'm so terrified. I don't know. I'm like, do they talk dirty to you when they do that? No, I'm just kidding. You didn't even buy me dinner.
Did Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And do you have a woman or a man? I've always wondered about that. Whether people prefer a gynecologist that's a man or a woman. I
Hello,
mean,
you want someone to understand the own body parts, like their own.
yes.
Like, I have had male doctors in the
Mhm.
past, but
Mhm.
I have to say it's such a relief to have a really wonderful female doctor that, she'll be like, oh, this happened to me, or don't worry, this is so
Yes.
normal. Or, a male doctor being like, oh, your vagina looks normal. You're like,
It does,
how many have you been staring
doesn't
at today? No, I don't
it?
know.
Yeah, because they all start to blur together after a
I've actually
while.
dated, well, in the States, they was called gynecologist, OBGYN.
Yeah.
I dated one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when I first got naked with him, I'm like, how many vaginas have
Things
you
have we
seen? I thought about
seen? That cannot be exciting
thousands.
anymore for a male gynecologist. That cannot be, I mean, yeah, when you've seen that many, it's probably like a boob doctor that's doing breast augmentations. I mean, how many boobs have
Yeah.
you seen? Can they still turn you on in that way? I don't
Well,
know.
and you got to wonder most of the time, he's either seeing them ripped apart or he's seeing them traumatized or he's seeing them you know, that they've been injured in
Although
some
I
way, or
could
they're going
say,
through something like a
how many
yeast
penises have we
infection.
seen, Michelle? And when they still turn us on, I don't
Shh,
know.
I've seen like 5. I don't know what you're talking
5.
about.
I'm
5.
at 4. I'm right under you. So
Well,
perfect.
at least someone's under me.
Amazing. Well, I think this is a lot of really good advice for going into 2024. Not your typical advice you're going to get from everybody, but we're just kind of talking about things that we are going to work on. Michelle's going to go to
Mhm.
a pelvic floor specialist. Andrea may try some kind of Reiki thing. I don't know.
We'll get
I
back to
mean,
you.
yeah, we need some people to reach out to us that do these things. We would love to talk to you about it. So, any Reiki specialists or pelvic floor specialists out there that want to hop on and chat with us, please let us know. And we have some really fun topics coming up. Like I said, some fun guests that are coming on. And then we're also going to start doing like some question and answer sessions, which I think is going to be great, where people can write to us or call in, kind of like asking the Ms. the questions. So see what we come up with for our answers and guidance. And just remember, we're not professionals here, but we'd like to think we are.
But we like to talk.
We like to talk. So you're going to get the real deal with us. So thank you so much for joining me once again, Michelle. I love having you here. And thank you, everybody out there, for listening. A wonderful, happy new year to everybody. Get out there and try something new. Get off the couch and do something different for yourself. You will be thankful and grateful that you did. You can follow me on From Mrs. to Ms. on Instagram and TikTok. You can email me at any time at info@FromMrsToMs.net. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Now, how'd you